It is Saturday, March 7th, 2026. Let's just go through the Dow components, all 30 of them. Many of them most people don't care about, but I think they're pretty important. Start with Apple. Third month lower of 4, down 2.5% for the month. Momentum still positive, but weakening due to turn negative in April. AMGN. New historic high 391, but we have a reversal down 4.8%. Momentum still very positive. There's nothing bearish there. Amazon up 1.5%. Choppy. Momentum is increasingly negative though. That's a problem. American Express, the third consecutive monthly decline. February was the break. We're just broadly going down with the sector. Momentum turned negative last month. Probably will. Momentum will be increasingly negative into April. This is bearish. Natural target lower Bollinger 239. That's $62 down. That is 20%. 20% downside in American Express. Makes me wonder, why am I not short this? maybe, maybe I'll short this next week. Maybe, but it is bearish. Boeing up 1.6% on the month. There was hopes that it's going to get a China order for 500 jets soon. Caterpillar. We had the first big bearish candle since December of 24. The February candle was pretty spiky, which is often suggestive of a short-term top. We are down 8.3% for the month. We have a provisional rollover in momentum. It's not a stock I would short though. It's had a hell of a run. I don't like shorting good companies. Salesforce currently at 3.8% for the month. It's choppy, but that's still midterm bearish. Zero, there's still no sign of a turn. Still distinctly bearish. CSCO, subdued, down 1%. Momentum is slowly weakening. Not particularly, I mean, it's still technically midterm bullish, of course. Chevron, new historic high at 1.7%, helped by oil printing the 92s this Friday. Momentum increasingly positive, bullish. Disney, down 4.2% on a month. Not great. Momentum, I don't know whether it was fractionally negative there, but it is fractionally negative here for sure. Net bearish. There is a gap to around 91, so I think we have $10 of downside there. Goldman Sachs, January, spiky candle. February, bearish engulfing candle. So far March, we're now testing the 10 MA. It's not going to hold, is it? Momentum is weakening, might turn negative in April. Not a financial I would short though. Home Depot, down 6% for the month. Momentum remains negative. Recent earnings were mixed. Honeywell, new historic high, but we have seen a swing lower, down 3.4%. Momentum still increasingly positive. That's not a short, is it? IBM, February was horrific. We're seeing a bounce, 7.8%, but there is zero sign of a turn. This will be increasingly negative into April. Bearish IBM. J&J, new historic high. But we do have a swing down with the main market, down 3.2%. Cyclically very high and prone to rolling over. JP Morgan, lower for a third month. We are now sustainably under the 10 MA. Haven't done that since April of 25. Momentum has turned sustainably negative this month and will be increasingly negative into April. I am short JP Morgan. Basic target to me is like 250. The most realistic bearish target right now would be around $200, which would get you back to the April low of 25. I accept that's a long way down. Coca-Cola swinging down 5.5%. Momentum has started to level out. McDonald's, is that a new historic high? It is. So we had a fractional new historic high this month, but we have swung lower down 3.3. Momentum is still ticking upwards. Nothing particularly bearish there. 3M down 7.2. Momentum has turned negative. That's interesting. It's the first time we've had negative momentum since November of 23. So yeah, we have a sell signal on 3M. Soft support is around this threshold, which is around 142. So, you know, $10 downside. Merck down 6.5%. Momentum is still increasingly positive, bullish. Microsoft 4.1% up, but still this is midterm bearish. Momentum is still weakening. There's nothing bearish there, nothing bullish there yet. Still, and I would say if we take out the 50 MA, which is 366, and that's quite a way down, but if we take it out, that would be the first time since 2015 or so. That would be a very bearish signal. And you could think, well, what then? Uh, I mean, 207 is kind of crazy talk, right? But it is what it is. If it breaks for 10 MA and if it stays under, I mean, the 50 MA, 50 monthly average, that would be a major alarm bells. It is something that the equity bears want to be seeing for in terms of the indexes. People want to see S&P 6100 or 5500. You're gonna have to see Microsoft take out this level, currently 366. One to watch. Nike down 7.7%. We have a clear failure of short-term rising trend. Absolutely, this is bearish short term. Momentum is still positive, but it's going to turn negative probably. Yeah, soft target is the April 51s. Bearish Nike. NVDA, fractionally high, well, moderately high for the month so far at 0.4, but we are still under the 10 MA 180. So we're short term bearish. Technically midterm, but yeah, the midterm trend is also broken. And last month's candle was actually bearish engulfing. Momentum is negative. That merits at least short-term alarm bells, just as it did back in last March, right? Should go down into April. I think if 150, question if the 200 day, not the 200 daily MA, that's around 176. If we go under 176 even on Monday, which I'm guessing we will, then soft target is around 150. Short-term bearish. Procter and Gamble. Big downside reversal down 8.1. Momentum has stalled. It was trying to tick positive, but nope, it's stalled. Short-term bearish. Sherwin-Williams down 8.6. Momentum has stalled. Bearish. Travelers. New strike high 313. Down a touch. Absolutely still short midterm bullish. United Health. Very subdued tight action. Just down 2.3%. I will say momentum's ticking upwards still, but remains negative. I still think there's a risk that we're going to come down here to test this low again. Visa. This one's been broken for quite a while, but the price action is very choppy and pretty subdued. Down 0.9. Momentum's increasingly bearish, short-term bearish, but in terms of a short, it's not a great short. It's very It's chop fest mostly. Verizon, near historic high, 51s. Very impressive. Momentum increasingly bullish. Bullish indeed. And the final one, Walmart. So February candle, new strike high, spiky candle though, cooling back, down 3.2%. Momentum has started to roll over, despite good earnings. Also, we have a cyclical lower high. I wouldn't place too much emphasis on it, but I mean, clearly it's still short, midterm, long-term bullish. I'd have to see a monthly close under the 10 MA, which is currently 108. Otherwise, bullish. Let's have a quick look at the Dow before I forget. Dow on a daily. Friday settled down 0.9%. Friday's candle was a little bit spiky because the market kept trying to bounce. Right, we've been seeing bounce attempts for a long while now, but still lower high, lower lows, bearish. Note for 200 day, 46 300s. So we need to drop just around 1,200 points to take that out. 1,200 points is roughly 2.5%. And again, if we do take it out, basic target would be 45, but you could kind of be looking for 42, 41. As some perspective, weekly candle, we're lower for the third week of 4, from 50K down to 47.5. Next support is the lower Bollinger at 46K. There's nothing bullish here. We are short-term and midterm broken on a weekly chart. Momentum is increasingly negative. Again, look, this is going to tick down next week, right? As of Monday, this bar's probably going to drop to around here. As some real perspective on a monthly, we're currently down 1,476 points, 3% on the month. Testing the 10 MA. If that goes, natural target would be lower Bollinger, which is currently 39.5. So maybe call it 40K. Yeah, I would be looking if we go under 46,800 to be decisive. We go down to 40K. Again, much like Microsoft, note the importance of the 50-month MA. We held it last April. We had one close under it there, but when we whipsawed back up, generally doesn't stay under there for very long. So huge amount of support around 40,000, which is, what's that? 16, 17% down. It looks realistic, but we need to take out the 10 MA first. Anyway, so some interesting names. Not everything's bearish in the Dow, and certainly not everything's bullish, but some interesting stuff to think about. And yeah, I'm short JP Morgan, which is, I'm kind of curious how that'll open on Monday. Not least the main market itself, but yeah. A lot of talk about the financials and private equity problems, especially in, was it BlackRock? A lot of talk about that this weekend. We shall see. Anyway, have a good day.